What's good, y'all? Pressure testing this Audi A8 Supercharge for a coolant leak. So before I started pressure testing the coolant system, right when I popped the hood, I seen coolant just dripping on the right side of the engine. I couldn't really pinpoint exactly where this coolant leak was coming from. I tried to use my phone just to record it and see if I can try to locate the actual coolant leak, but I believe it was leaking somewhere up top. I don't think it was leaking exactly from that coolant pipe. So I think it was leaking up top, and then it was just leaking on that pipe, and then just dripping down. Yeah. So once I put a couple of psi in there, I think I pressure tested it between 20 and 25 psi. That seal just gave out. I believe it was on its way out, but as soon as I pressure tested it, it just blew completely out. So this is my first time ever removing one of these superchargers, and it's also like my first time really having a big job like this on the Audi. Yeah, so I got a couple of more hours just to remove the supercharger, just because I really couldn't pinpoint exactly where this coolant leak was coming from. So I was like, I need further diag to really dig into this and really try to find exactly where this coolant leak is. Like I said, this is my first time removing the supercharger on this. I didn't really have the best technique, but I got it out of there. Originally, I had help. I had an extra set of hands to help me remove this out the car, but one, I wasn't trying to wait, and then two, I was really trying to muscle this thing out by myself. Pull this out of the car. So I was like, let me just try to get a video of me just pulling out a supercharger. But yeah, that supercharger weighed a good 50 to 60 pounds. So me trying to yank that thing out of there it wasn't easy, especially because how far the engine kind of sit back on this Audi. It was just like, I really got to find a way to finesse this thing out of there if I'm going to do it myself. So I did see a couple of other videos too of people putting quarter-inch extensions in there, and they lifted up by that, but at the time I wasn't thinking about it. So I was just using my fingers pretty much, just using all that strength in that. Yeah, but once I took it out, I was like, before I even decided to put this thing back in there, I'm going to definitely get a set of hands in, just to make it a little easier. And, I don't want to break nothing, after doing a big job like this. So best believe we got another set of hands to put that supercharger back in. Yeah, it took me about 10 minutes and like 12 seconds just to really pull that big ass rock out of the dirt, because that's what it really felt like. It took me a little while to remove it, but once I got it out, we got to rolling. The thermostat housing is also underneath there. So if you ever got to replace one of these, you got to remove those. You got to remove the supercharger. And I believe you have to do that too as well if you're going to be doing the water pump. But yeah, we got that removed, and just so we can get a good look at everything and really try to pinpoint this coolant leak. And I also recommend, like, if you ever got to do one of these jobs, like, it's best to definitely change these gaskets and all these seals that, whatever you removed, just because, this is a big job. So last thing you want to do is have to pull that supercharger again just to replace a single gasket, Change everything while you in there. If you're going to do the thermostat housing, change the water pump while you in there. Change the bolts and all that. And replace a lot of these seals in there. Because, like I said, you don't want to have to do this again just to replace a single seal, Sometimes it comes down to that, but, if you can avoid those minor issues like that, I definitely, I suggest you just do it right the first time, Like I said, shit does happen, but just try to do it the right way, after messing with a couple of these Audis, I've been getting called like the new Audi tech at work. So, I kind of take a little pride in that, which is it's pretty dope. Not a lot of people like working on Audis or just German cars in general. Me personally, though, I like messing with these things, man. These German cars are like definitely they could be a little challenge. They can definitely be over engineered, but I'm a huge fan of these things, man. Like, I love the culture. I like the language. Like it's really foreign when it comes to these things. Porsche is like my favorite brand. Like it's one of my dream cars to have. A lot of people ain't really a fan of working on these things or even just like owning these things, just cause of the name it's got. Like just cause of how easy they break, how stupid they are to fix. Like it really comes down to the owner and whether you know how to fix them or not. It's all about trying to find someone that's that know they stuff about these cars, and not only that, like you gotta find someone that's willing to have the patience for these cars, because a lot of people don't have the patience to fix these cars just because you gotta take off like 30 bolts for a skid plate, like before you can really work on it. That's already like 25 minutes. It's one of those things. Like you got to get a certain area, you really might have to take off a lot of parts just to see the area, basically. For y'all customers though, I'm gonna have to start charging y'all like an Audi tech. Stop coming to VW thinking y'all getting cheap ass labor time. Y'all got me on this one, but the next one y'all getting quoted like y'all stepped in the Audi. Like y'all ain't slick. I'm finna tax y'all for sure. For sure. Y'all getting taxed. I'm gonna make y'all not come back to VW. Y'all gonna go to Audi and just take that L. It's gonna be 10 times worse over there. But yeah, I like messing with these cars though. Like don't really get too much of these Audis in the VW shop. So when they come in the shop and I get handed that ticket, I won't say no to it, just cause we don't get a lot of those in the shop. So it's like it's one of those things where you either gonna mess with it or you not. But you gotta be willing to mess with it though. You feel me? So as you can see, I'm just about there, pulling the supercharger out. Those studs is long, so it was tough. And I think I had about maybe 2 holes still connected, or maybe it was caught on one of the other lines. Removing this supercharger it wasn't easy. I ain't gonna say it was easy. It wasn't easy. That shit has some weight to it. When it's time to put that thing back together, best believe I'm getting a set of hands in. I do not want to break nothing. So as you can see, once I move that pad, you can see a lot of the coolant sitting down there. And I really think it was leaking from the water pump. This is the water pump that I'm looking at, like the bottom of it. I believe it was leaking onto I believe the water pump failed, and then I also believe maybe a seal that went out. Nigga, this why I hate being low, nigga. That I couldn't really pinpoint. When I pressure tested it, you can hear a little bit of a leak, but I still just couldn't locate it. So we went ahead and replaced the thermostat housing. We went ahead and replaced the water pump as well. I don't know what coolant pipe they call it, but we replaced the coolant pipe. But we went ahead and replaced those parts. We replaced the new bolts on it too. I tried to sell a serpentine belt, but the customer didn't want to do it, so we didn't replace that. Yeah, I tried to put my hand in certain areas to see if I can find where the actual leak was coming from, but it's so tight in these Audi engine bays. It's kind of crazy. Like they're known for these coolant issues. You either gotta work on these things all the time and know what you're looking for, or you just gotta really now I know, working on this, I know what to look for and what to keep in mind for the next one I come in. Yeah, so right now I'm removing the water pump. There's still a little bit more coolant in there, not a whole lot. Yeah, after removing that water pump, we got the new coolant pipe that I don't know what they normally call that, but I cleaned the surface up for the thermostat housing and the water pump, just so we can get a good seal on it. So that's the new water pump and the thermostat housing, and that's the old coolant pipe. And then we got the thermostat housing and water pump back together. So once we got everything back together, I made sure I pressurized the coolant system. Made sure we didn't have no additional leaks after putting everything back together. We did an old school like bleed on it, made sure the car had heat in there, and then I just drove it around the lake for a little bit, made sure it was at operating temperature, and made sure everything was good.